True or false? Nearly half of all IELTS test takers now choose IELTS on computer. What do you think? True or false? It's actually true. Hello and welcome back. My name's Tom, and in this British Council IELTS preparation video, we're going to show you how to practice effectively for IELTS on computer, so you can walk into test day feeling confident and ready to succeed. In this complete guide to practicing for IELTS on computer, we'll cover how the test format is different, essential strategies for each section, time management tips, free official practice tools. If you're thinking about taking IELTS on computer, or you've already booked your test, this video is going to help you prepare. Okay, let's get started. All right, so you might be wondering, if IELTS on computer and IELTS on paper are the same test, what's actually different? It's a great question, because while the content and scoring are the same, the experience feels very different. So let's break it down. Firstly, you'll only do 3 sections in IELTS on computer: listening, reading, and writing. The speaking test is still face-to-face with an examiner, all done via a secure video call at the test center. The second big difference is how you answer. Instead of handwriting your test, you'll type your writing tasks directly onto the screen into a text box. There won't be an autocorrect feature, so it's important to pay extra attention and avoid any typing or spelling mistakes. Now, if you're a fast typer, this can be a huge advantage. No messy handwriting, I'm definitely guilty of that, and you don't have to worry if the examiner can read your words. But if you're not super confident with typing under pressure, you'll definitely want to practice that skill before the test day. We'll talk more about that later on. In IELTS on paper, you turn the pages in the booklet for both listening and reading. One page for the questions, another for reading passages, another for your notes. On the computer, everything is right there on the screen. You scroll down the reading passages, you click between questions, and you can easily highlight key information. Overall, the content is the same, it's just the delivery that's different. Okay, so we've looked at the main differences. The big question is, why are more and more students choosing IELTS on computer these days? Well, honestly, it comes with some pretty big advantages. So let's take a look. Faster results. If you take IELTS on computer, you'll get your results in 1 to 5 days, but you're likely to get your results within only 2 days. That's great if you're on a tight deadline for university applications or a visa, or if you just can't wait to know how you did. More frequent test dates. A real advantage to IELTS on computer is simply that they are much more frequent than IELTS on paper. With more sessions available, it means you can easily find a date that can fit your schedule, instead of having to wait weeks for the next test. Another big benefit, built-in tools that make your life easier during the test. For example, you'll have access to a word counter during writing, so no more guessing if you've hit 150 or 250 words. A highlighting tool to mark key information in the listening and reading tests. A note section to jot down ideas without needing scrap paper. The ability to flag questions and come back to them later if you're unsure. IELTS on computer really makes sense if you feel comfortable working digitally, like so many of us these days. It's also notable that for some students, big exam halls can be quite stressful. I know for me it brings back memories from school, so perhaps the computer-based environment is a little more comfortable for some people. All right, let's talk about what you'll actually see when you sit down for your IELTS on computer test. The good news, it's designed to be super user-friendly. And once you get familiar with it, it feels very natural to use. Each section, listening, reading, and writing, has tabs and built-in tools to help you. You'll find handy features like highlight text, perfect for marking important information while you're reading or listening. Make notes, so you can quickly write down ideas, keywords, or anything you want to remember without needing scrap paper. And here's something you'll be really thankful for. You can skip questions if you're stuck and come back to them later. So that means no getting stuck on one tricky question and running out of time. Plus, if there's a question you're unsure about, you can flag it, and then before you submit your answers at the end of the section, you'll get a chance to review all your flag questions. It's a brilliant way to stay organized and make sure you don't miss any easy points. That's why it's so important to practice on the real IELTS on computer interface before your test day. The more comfortable you are with the screen and the tools, the more you can focus on what really matters, answering the questions and getting maximum marks. And in just a moment, I'll show you exactly how you can access an official practice tool completely free so you can walk into test day feeling calm, confident, and ready. Right, let's move on to look at some skill-specific practice tips. As I mentioned earlier, practicing for the IELTS on computer test is really important so you're used to how it all works on test day. We want you fully focused on answering the questions correctly and not worrying about tech issues or how to navigate the test. Let's start with the listening test. My first tip is to always practice listening exercises with headphones. It'll help you get used to the sound quality and also the feeling of focusing in a test-like environment, which will make a big difference to you on the day. Now, this next point is really important. In the IELTS listening test, you only hear the recording once. That's it. No replays or second chances. So you need to be fully focused from the very start. I know that sounds hard, but it just means you have to be fully focused on the day. Therefore, it's a good idea to limit yourself to hearing practice listening tasks once too, so you get used to it. As you listen, use the built-in highlight text and notes features. Highlight keywords in the questions and quickly write down important details you hear. These small actions can really help you stay organized and pick out the right answers. And if you want to get serious about improving your listening band score, I highly recommend using IELTS Ready Member practice listening tests. They give you a real test experience, so you'll know exactly what you need to work on. It's also the perfect way to practice under real conditions, so you can walk into your test feeling confident. Let's move on to the reading test. Now, let's talk about the reading section. And trust me, practicing the right way can make a huge difference. My first tip is to get comfortable skimming and scanning long text using a scroll bar. No turning pages here like in the paper test. Everything here is digital. So it's all about navigating the page quickly and efficiently. Train your eyes to move smoothly down the screen, picking out headings, keywords, and important information as you go. This will help you locate answers quickly without reading every single word. It might be an obvious thing to say, but reading on a screen is a little different from reading on paper. It can be a bit harder on your eyes if you're not used to it. I know so many of us spend a lot of time looking at screens these days, but if you don't, make sure you start reading text online so that your brain and eyes adjust to this new format. Another key tip, practice under time conditions. In the real test, you'll have 60 minutes to answer 40 questions, and every second counts. Getting used to that pressure now will make you feel much calmer when it matters. You have a timer to tell you how long you've got left, so use it to your advantage. And just like with listening, the best way to prepare is to use IELTS Ready Member. The full reading tests give you practice and allow you to track your progress and know exactly what to improve. All right, let's move on to the writing section. And if you're taking IELTS on computer, you'll want to practice a little differently from paper-based tests. My first tip is to practice typing essays without using the autocorrect or grammar check function. This might seem a bit strange at first because we spend so much of our time online writing with those functions helping us. But as you might expect, the IELTS test is all about showing you can communicate accurately in English without them. This means you'll have to be very careful and notice and catch any mistakes and typing errors as you go. Next up, word count. Just like IELTS on paper, task 1 needs a minimum of 150 words and task 2 needs at least 250 words. The good news is with IELTS on computer, there's a built-in word counter, so you don't have to count them manually. Still, you'll want to practice writing to the right length while staying within the time limits. Another thing to think about is making sure you format your essays properly on the computer. It's still really important that you use clear paragraphs, proper spacing, and a logical structure. Remember, an organized, easy-to-read essay makes a great first impression on the examiner. Before we finish, let's talk about one of the biggest keys to IELTS success, time management. Even strong English skills won't help you if you run out of time or panic during the test. Here are a few quick, powerful strategies to stay on track. Always keep an eye on the on-screen timer. Each section of the IELTS on computer test has its own countdown clock. Use it to pace yourself and avoid last-minute panic. For example, during the writing test, you should take 20 minutes to answer task 1 and 40 minutes to answer task 2. Task 1 is shorter, but it's still worth 1/3 of your writing score, though you don't want to spend too long on it and then rush task 2. So when you practice, set a timer and make sure you achieve those timings, 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. It's all about helping you manage your time better on the real test day and hopefully reduce the fear of running out of time at the end. My second tip is to flag tricky questions and come back to them later. If you get stuck during the listening and reading tests, flag tricky questions and come back to them later when you have time. This way, you can stay focused and maximize the number of questions that you answer. My third tip would be to never, ever, ever leave an answer blank. In both IELTS listening and reading, there's no penalty for wrong answers. You should always make your best guess. An empty answer is a guaranteed 0. A guess at least gives you a chance. And finally, be alert to transitions in the listening test. When you move from part 3 to part 4, for example, the recording flows fast, and part 4 is usually the most challenging. Stay focused and be ready to jump into the next set of questions without delay. Getting better at managing your time can make a huge difference to your band score, sometimes even more than learning extra vocabulary or grammar. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you perform under test conditions. Okay, how do those tips sound to you? Which ones are you going to use in your IELTS preparation? And if you want to practice in a real IELTS on computer environment, I highly recommend the IELTS on computer familiarisation test. It's completely free and it gives you the chance to practice listening, reading and writing exactly like you would on test day and get the band score estimates for listening and reading. The link is in the description below, so go check it out right now and let us know how you get on. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and I'll see you next time.